Today we have some videos that have come out of Jung Kook's relationship with his dancer while he's at the camp, and that video is sort of being posted now. We also have a picture that has gone viral that has led to a lot of speculation and rumors, and I definitely want to get into that. And then we have the label going to court and asking the court for something which I think is very interesting. Say Dumplings is safe to decide, hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, and make sure you join us fangirling on Patreon with some free content on Saturdays now, and let's go. I think the anonymity of social media is a problem. I think a lot of people do think that because they can just hide behind a keyboard and there's no repercussions for what they say, that they're just going to say whatever they want. And at the end of the day, if you were someone who I was working alongside with at your company, I doubt these awful things would be said because you might be scared of being reported to HR, being reported to your boss, and then fired. And a lot of people that I know, as well as myself, have taken the higher road when it comes to the awful things that are being said online to not really look into the person and not really try to ruin their life. I mean, I've seen some people really have their address and their profile picture be the same as their personal Facebook picture, and you can just literally track them and find out where they live, who their mother is, and what they're doing. But at the end of the day, if I ever have chosen to kind of look into someone that was annoying me or saying really awful things, I more often than not feel bad for the person more than I feel like I want to actually ruin their life. I look at some of the stuff that they've gone through and I actually feel genuinely sad that I'm like, okay, well, if you need a vessel to be sad at and if that vessel is me, then please do that because clearly you have nothing else going on right in your life. And the truth be told, I have rarely ever seen someone who has a happy life, who is out doing sports with a lot of their friends, who is partying, who is enjoying their life, leave a hate comment on my page or in general. Most of the time, I'm not reading these hate comments anyway. At this point, I've done it for so long, really doesn't faze me as much, so please go ahead. Now, of course, the label recently did something that I think is going to change the entire landscape with social media, which is taking away the person hiding behind the keyboard and thinking that they're safe because they don't have a profile picture or whatever. Apparently there has been this ongoing defamation case with BTS and someone was like writing these awful things. The label decided to go a step further to get the authorities involved and also demand that the US court reveal who is behind the keyboard. Now there's a specific username and person that they're doing this towards. It isn't just a general thing, and I've seen a lot of people try to target news sites or whatever and say that the label is coming for them. However, they can't use news sites such as All Kpop or Koreaboo or whatever because all news sites, their contact information is public. So the court never actually even has to reveal their information or their identity. That identity has already been revealed. And you can easily reach out to those people. Likely it wouldn't even be news. They would just be able to reach out to the person that they directly think is doing the defamation, and then they just get them to remove the content or whatever it is. In the US, you literally have to give the person a heads up before engaging in a lawsuit, i.e. this gives the person who has done something wrong to have a chance at fixing their wrong. But I do think this is going to change social media in general. I think a lot of people are now going to be scared to leave really hateful comments because they're going to think that it's not anonymous. And I think that this is really better because I think the hate and the anger online has been getting worse for everyone. I don't think I know of a person lately that hasn't told me that they've had problems with like a lot of hate comments, whether that's just them reading hate comments online or if that's just from their own page. And sometimes it's really silly. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, you're stupid or whatever. And then other times it's really bad things like death threats and that stuff, which of course needs to be looked into by authorities. Rumors and people being angry is something that's going to exist, I think, from now to the end of time. At the end of the day, no matter what is posted, whether that's a photo or whether that's a video, people are going to get upset at something. And sometimes people get so upset that they're going to leave death threats and attacks, which I think at the end of the day needs to be punishable by law. I think a lot of the times there are very silly things online, and sometimes the silly things are not as silly and they are very serious. But most of the time it's just silly things, and then the community can then take it and move it so far past what it's supposed to just be, which is usually a joke. I was seeing a post, or I believe it was V, who posted on his Instagram story, and he posted cards. These were the cards from the standard 52 or 54 deck, and he posted Joker, King, and the number 7. People had a lot of thoughts about this and why he posted this. Of course, these shipping rumors came out, but of course it's very interesting that he posted JK and then posted the number 7. If V just posted the number 7, then obviously he would be talking about all of the BTS boys. But posting JK seems like it would just be about one specific person, or at least this is what the community thinks. But then again, I saw another round of theories and speculation which brought it to a whole other level, which obviously V wouldn't be talking about JK, but this would be Jennie Kim. And then some people were saying that this is a sign that V and Jennie have been dating for 7 years, which of course is just a wild theory to me as well. However, this came after the rumor of the two dating, so of course it makes sense that people would think that this was his way of addressing it, saying that the relationship is legit and they have been dating for this long. However, they likely haven't been dating this long. That's an insane amount of time, and just that it wouldn't make sense. I think the cards were maybe just what he happened to draw, and he was like, oh my god, it says JK7 and thought it was cute. Maybe he was playing with JK and it popped up and decided to post it, and he just thought it was funny. It does make sense that someone could post something and not realize what the implications of it would be. They don't always have a publicist or a team looking over their own personal Instagram posts, even though maybe at this point it is necessary because those posts still make headlines. But it's interesting that people always have these assumptions, and the assumptions are always based on the fact that the boys or whoever is posting is aware of what they're doing, when in reality that's not always true. When a celebrity goes from just your average person who maybe doesn't have a big following to someone who has a very large following and who is a household name, it's not like they're automatically taught the impact that they have. If they had started from humble beginnings, probably still see themselves as a nobody. And when I say nobody, I mean they probably think that the stuff that they post, no one really cares about, which we definitely know that the boys have this mindset and they think like that. And they think like, well, I'm just posting something silly, why do you guys care so much? And that's coming from the fact that just because they became famous doesn't mean that they automatically realize that they are famous. And even if they obviously know that they're famous because they see the paparazzis, when they see the fans show up, they might not know how famous they are. They might not know that one word they say could really completely change the entire world or change millions of people's lives, because that is a very, very hard thing to take in and understand. And it's very hard to realize, and that's the truth. And the truth is that no person can fully understand or take in that, because that's just way too much to comprehend. But switching gears here, there has been a clip that I think people have been in love with. And it's a clip that has come out while JK is in the military, and a lot of people got to hear his voice again. They got to see him, and a lot of people were very excited that this clip has been posted. So what's going on? What's happening, and what is this clip? One of JK's former backup dancers, the one we're standing next to, was on set and was doing his dancing thing and whatever. And apparently that video was recorded and it was posted online, and it was the backup dancer that posted it. So this is actually hilarious, because there was this moment in which the backup dancer thought that right at the end, like the last note and the last beat, he was supposed to do a full turn, and everyone else just stayed completely still because that was the ending. So JK didn't move. Now the other backup dancers didn't move. Just this one backup dancer decided to do a whole 360 turn. Now when they replayed this, that was one of the bloopers. JK actually took out his phone and recorded that clip, and apparently during dinner and during all the other downtimes that they had on set, JK was just replaying and laughing. Now that specific backup dancer then recorded the footage off of JK's phone, and that was then the footage that was posted. And that footage ended up showing JK's tattoos, and then also his laugh and giggle. And then also showing how JK is going to tease everyone on set and kind of make it a fun environment for everyone. And he's not so rigid and angry for someone messing up. But that everyone ended up having a fun experience, because if this was a negative experience, and if the backup dancer thought it was a negative experience, he could probably have posted that. And quite honestly, I've get way more publicity, right? Because I think a lot of people would be shocked to hear of a negative story. But he posted what was actually true, which was that it was a fun experience, and he enjoyed working with JK, and that JK is so fun, goofy, and lovable to be around. I mean, we can clearly tell even from just this clip that JK clearly has a really good sense of humor. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you. Bye.